My wife began wearing headphones to bed, until one evening I removed one from her ear. At first, it struck me as odd. She had always claimed she needed complete silence to sleep, yet now she was using something to drift off. When I questioned her, she replied instantly, as if she had prepared the answer ahead of time. "It's only a relaxation podcast. It helps me unwind." All right, I didn't press further. But the routine didn't just continue, it grew stricter. Each night before sleep, she would place the headphones on with almost ceremonial attention. If I tried speaking to her afterward, she would simply glance at me and gesture toward her ears, as if to say she was already tuned in. She would turn to her side, the cords twisting into the pillow, treating it like something indispensable. During daylight hours, she behaved normally. She remained loving and caring toward me. But at night, an unsettling feeling lingered. There was a peculiar tension in our bedroom. It felt like I was sharing the bed with someone unfamiliar, someone concealing a secret. I grew uneasy. I wondered if I was imagining things. Jealousy, perhaps? Then came the little clues, subtle but piercing. One evening, while she washed the dishes, she hummed a tune. I had never heard that melody, so I teased her. "New song, where did you pick that up?" She paused briefly. Then chuckled and said, "I probably caught it in a short video online, I forget." But I knew it wasn't typical social media music. There was something looping and trance-like about it. Almost like a hidden signal. That's when I resolved to do the unexpected. I waited until she sank into deep sleep, then carefully lifted one headphone from her ear. That night, I stayed alert. I listened to her steady, soft breaths as the bedside lamp threw shadows across the ceiling. Her phone, as usual, rested under the pillow. With my pulse pounding, I slowly reached under the pillow and located the cord. I tugged lightly. She murmured something, shifted slightly, but stayed asleep. I slipped the earpiece into my own ear. What I heard sent a shiver through me. It wasn't a meditation podcast. It wasn't music. It was a man's voice, deep and low, far too personal. "You're progressing nicely, just a bit longer. Soon everything will belong to us, Mariana." I remained motionless. The voice went on in a soothing whisper, repeating suggestions and directions. Phrases like, "Don't share anything with him. Stick to the plan, you deserve something better." A cold dread settled in my gut. It sounded like someone brainwashing my wife, or worse, plotting alongside her. That night I acted as though nothing had changed. I lay back, shut my eyes, and focused on steadying my breath. But deep down I understood. Something dangerous was unfolding, and I would uncover the truth. The following morning, Mariana carried on as usual. She greeted me with a kiss, prepared breakfast, and chatted about the day ahead, as if she hadn't spent the night absorbing a stranger's words plotting against me. I couldn't see her the same way anymore. Every action, every word felt scripted, artificial, as though she sensed my doubts but refused to show any cracks. While she showered, I seized the moment to check her phone. I don't normally do this, believe me, but this situation was different. It felt like my peace of mind depended on it. I had to discover who she was communicating with and the source of those recordings, yet the phone now had a new passcode. She had changed it from the old one. My hands began to shake. This confirmed it. She was deliberately hiding something. At the office, I struggled to focus. That voice echoed in my mind. It seemed vaguely familiar, but I couldn't quite place it. It belonged to someone around our age with a commanding edge, like he held power over her. I returned home with resolve. If she believed she could deceive me, she would soon learn otherwise. That evening, as we prepared for bed, I tried to stay composed. "Sweetheart, is everything all right?" I asked, keeping my tone light. She regarded me with an overly calm expression. "Of course." "Why do you ask?" "I don't know, you seem a bit removed lately," she smiled. "It's probably just work stress." "Has this headphone routine been troubling you?" The question surprised me. She had never brought it up before. "A little, but if it helps you rest, then it's fine." She cut me off quickly. She adjusted the headphones, turned away, and closed the discussion. I waited once more until she slept. This time I moved faster. I quietly took her phone to my workspace. I powered up the laptop and plugged in the cable. I had an old data recovery tool installed from my previous job as an IT specialist, and it proved useful now. The software recognized the device and allowed access to certain areas without the password. Most content was protected, but I found a concealed folder with a recent timestamp. Inside were multiple audio files labeled by dates and times. I played the first one. "Good evening, Mariana. Tonight will strengthen the sense of independence. You don't need anyone directing your life, especially not him. Repeat after me. I am independent. I am powerful. He has no hold over me." My eyes widened. I played the next. "We'll begin the next stage soon. He must not detect anything. Keep smiling. Embrace him. Kiss him. Maintain the appearance of normalcy, but remain determined. You're nearly free." Each recording featured the same voice, the same conditioning, but the most alarming part came in the third file. "As planned, the funds will transfer to Lucas's account tomorrow." Then we moved to the next tests. Lucas, that name was familiar. He was Mariana's former boyfriend, the one she claimed to have cut off completely, someone from her past she never wanted to revisit. The same Lucas who had been dismissed from a job years earlier over allegations of emotional manipulation. Everything clicked into place. Mariana was either being controlled or had been dishonest with me from the start. I needed to face her, but I had to be cautious. If she was a victim of manipulation, I could support her. But if she was complicit, then I was living with someone scheming to ruin me, perhaps even worse. I spent the next day torn between two realities. One side hoped Mariana was simply being exploited, that this Lucas had reappeared and was taking advantage of some weakness I had missed. Maybe I had let her down somehow, but the other side warned that she was fully aware, that she was deliberately playing a risky role with me. Late that afternoon, I returned home ready to observe her closely. I wouldn't accuse her outright. I wanted to watch her reactions. See how deep the pretense went. I cooked dinner as though all was well. She arrived just after 7, kissed me, and went to freshen up. When she joined me at the table, she eyed my plate and remarked, "You really put in extra effort today, trying to impress me again?" I smiled, but internally I was seething. "Always. You never know when someone might try to take you away," she laughed, but her gaze flicked away for a moment. That night I waited for her to fall asleep again. This time I didn't interfere. I simply observed the careful way she positioned the headphones, how she double-checked their placement, how she tucked the phone under the pillow with extra caution. It was obvious. This had become habit, not something spontaneous. And worse, she seemed at ease with it, as if she were already living a double life alongside the one she shared with me. The next morning, before heading to work, I took a step that weighed on me. I installed monitoring software on her phone. I knew it wasn't right, but desperation drove me. I needed clarity on what was happening, and whether I faced any real threat. The initial hours showed nothing unusual: ordinary texts, family chats, casual talks with friends. But at 3:42 p.m. a message arrived from Lucas. "After today's recording, follow through with what we discussed. He shouldn't notice a thing." It stopped me cold, recording. At 6:10 p.m. another message from him. "When he steps into the bathroom, place the phone on the rear section of the shelf. The camera should capture enough." My heart pounded. They planned to record me, but for what reason? Blackmail? Evidence? Were they building a case against me, or preparing something more sinister? When Mariana returned home, her every move felt staged. The kiss, the smile, the claim of a headache and wanting to rest early. The second she entered the bathroom, I headed to the living room shelf. I checked behind the books and decorations and found it. Her phone, front camera running, positioned discreetly between two books, nearly invisible. I picked it up calmly and checked the recording app. It had been capturing for 42 seconds. I held the device silently for a moment. That's when I heard her voice from the hallway. "What are you doing in there?" I turned slowly, still gripping the phone. "The real question is, what are you doing, Mariana?" She halted in the living room entrance. Her face drained of color briefly before she regained composure. "What are you talking about?" "This phone, it was recording." Hidden away, she stayed serious, and for a split second I wondered if any part of her story might hold truth. "Mariana, look at me," I said, phone still in hand. "Do you honestly expect this explanation to make sense?" She remained quiet. She held my gaze but didn't approach. She stood there, caught yet still trying to steer the conversation. "I know it sounds crazy, but it's true," she insisted. "Lucas isn't simply my ex anymore. He joined the police force, and he discovered signs that you're being targeted by a dangerous group that's ruined others, businessmen, people in your industry." That surprised me. Mariana knew I was finalizing a major deal at work with intense competition. Still, and what group is this? Who exactly? I don't have all the details, she answered too swiftly. He doesn't share everything. He only said he needed to go undercover, gather recordings, pretend to side with them to draw out the real threats. Mariana, this is absurd. You're saying your ex, the one you promised was out of your life forever, suddenly returns, becomes an officer, and you secretly team up with him behind my back, acting like you're betraying me. All to protect me? Yes, she spoke with such certainty as if the sheer confidence would sell the ridiculous tale. I stood frozen. The phone shook slightly in my grip. I desperately wanted to trust her version, that this whole scheme was somehow for my benefit, but I couldn't overlook the recordings I had heard, the tone he used with her, the directives. The subtle promises, the hints of a different future. Give me a name, a document, proof that he's actually with the police. And if you don't want to wait for the rest, you can watch the full story on my YouTube channel. Just tap share, then more, and select the YouTube link in my profile.